pretrial. Ms. Underwood, how would you like to proceed today?
Your Honor, the offer in this matter is an attempted resisting obstructing. I believe at this point, Your Honor, it would be appropriate to set this matter for trial.
All right, not a problem. Okay, so
Your Honor, I would point out that I would hope we could maybe go into the summer for a trial date.
okay, I don't know why.
Oh, just because I have so many
Okay,
before then, and he is not incarcerated.
okay. So Mr. Sneed, any objection to May, June date?
Whatever the court schedule would allow, it seems like a pretty simple case.
Yeah.
So sooner rather than
I know
later.
that we have like 5 jury trials scheduled every week and they fall out at the last minute, but I don't always know. So Ms. Adams, I'm looking for a 1-day trial date, end of May, beginning of June. I'm gone for 2 weeks in June. So, Ms. Adams.
June 4th.
It's nothing.
You are gone that Thursday, so Tuesday, June 4th, if you think it's safe enough.
Okay, so I think this would be a 1-day trial. Do you agree with that, Ms. Underwood?
I would agree with that.
Okay, so June 4th, you said, Ms. Adams?
Yes, correct.
All right, so it can't go more than 2 days because I will no longer be in this country. And so, but I think we should be able to get it done. So I'll set it for June 4, 24 at 9 a.m. I will set a final pretrial for May 22nd of 24 at 8:30 in the morning. And I will set a due date for jury instructions and voir dire questions for May 15. And motion deadline for May 22nd. Okay, so Ms. Underwood, I filled this out. And Mr. Derby, make sure you stay in contact with Ms. Underwood to do preparation for trial, all right?
Yes.
Now, Mr. Derby, this is an RNO, which carries a maximum penalty of up to 2 years in prison. You do have a third offense notice, so that would make it carry a maximum penalty of up to 4 years in prison. The misdemeanor offer is a 1-year misdemeanor. Do you understand all that?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So I filled out the scheduling order. And we'll see you back on those days. Thank you, Ms. Underwood, on that one. Okay, so you're all set, Mr. Derby.
All right.
I have I have so many people in the Zoom room. So let me see here. I have, do I have David Davis?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, there you are. Okay. So this is in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus David James Davis, file number 23-21633FH. I have Rhonda Underwood appearing on behalf of Mr. Davis, who is incarcerated, and I have Isaac Sneed appearing on behalf of the people. This is a date and time set for pretrial in this matter. I do see a plea offer was made to a 2-year unlawful driving away and a 1-year lying to a police officer. So restitution is $500, $1,500 or $500, I think. So Ms. Underwood, how would you like to proceed today with Mr. Davis?
First of all, let me apologize to Mr. Davis. We were not able to get him. He asked last night if he could come in person, but the court was not able to do that.
So Mr. Davis, because the way our transport officers are set up, we need more than 24-hour notice to get staffing to do that. So I apologize. Plus we have a jury trial going. And so the transport officer has to stay with that individual. So as long as we have notice for the next court date, we will have you brought over in person. Okay.
Your Honor.
Okay.
It's my belief that Mr. Davis wishes to accept that offer, Your Honor.
All right. So Mr. Davis, the plea offer then, as I understand, they will amend the felony information to add a count 3 unlawful driving away of a a UDAA, right, Mr. Steen?
Yes.
that
There's a
different?
2-year There's a 2-year version of that, joyriding.
Yeah, okay. What is it called? The statute
Joyriding.
Joyriding, okay, that makes more sense. All right, so Mr. Davis, it's my understanding you're gonna be pleading guilty to an added count 3 joyriding, and then an added count 4. Is that lying to a police officer, Mr. Sneed? I can't
Yes,
read my
it
own
is.
writing. Okay, and so that'll be a count 4. So, Mr. Davis, is it your intention then to plead guilty to those 2 counts?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay,
The habituals will be dismissed.
and you understand the habituals will be dismissed. Is that correct, Mr. Sneed?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so Mr. Davis, you want to raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so you've heard the statement of your attorney and the prosecuting attorney and stated it's your intention to plead guilty to those counts. Are you satisfied with Ms. Underwood and the advice that she has given you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, neither the prosecutor, the defendant, nor anyone on the defendant's behalf has discussed a possible sentence with the court. Is that correct, Ms. Underwood?
It is, Your Honor.
Is that correct, Mr. Sneed?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Davis, is that correct as far as you're aware?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, if a guilty plea is accepted, there will be no trial. This means that you will be giving up rights you would have had at trial. I'm going to explain those rights to you now to make sure that you understand them. You have a right to a speedy public trial by jury. You may ask for a non-jury trial. Hold on one second. Is there someone letting the jurors in?
Yes.
Okay, good. I thought so, but usually you're up and down. So you do have a right to a speedy public trial by jury. You may ask for a non-jury trial, and if the prosecutor and court agree, you can have a non-jury trial. You have the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to have the prosecuting attorney prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you are guilty, and you do not have to prove anything. You have the right to be present at trial and have witnesses against you appear at your trial and to ask those witnesses questions. You have the right to have the court order any witnesses you have for your defense to appear at the trial. You have the right to remain silent during your trial, not to have your silence used against you. However, you also have the right to testify at your trial if you want to testify. Do you understand that if your plea is accepted, you may be giving up the right to appeal issues that would otherwise be appealable if you were convicted at trial? Do you understand that, Mr. Davis?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that any appeal from the conviction and sentence pursuant to the plea would now be by application for leave to appeal and not by right? Do you understand that?
Yes.
If you are not a citizen of the United States of America, a conviction of a crime may result in deportation, exclusion from admission to the United States of America, or denial of naturalization. Do you have any questions about the rights that I've given to you?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Davis, how do you wish to plead to the charge that on or about November 5 of 2023 in the city of Adrian in the county of Lenawee, that you did commit the offense of joyriding?
Guilty, Your Honor.
And on that same date, time in the city of Adrian in the county of Lenawee, how do you wish to plead to the charge that you committed the offense lying to a police officer?
Guilty, Your Honor.
All right. Has anyone made any threats or promises to you to induce you to plead guilty to these charges?
I don't know if it's a threat, Your Honor, but to me, I just learned last night, 14 hours ago, about this habitual situation, and I was told that instead of a 2-year felony, they were going to give me 25 years, and that seems like bullying pretty hard to make somebody have to take a plea in that. And I'm not saying I don't want to take the plea, because I still want to take the plea because it's still better than 5, but that is ridiculous to come at somebody 12 hours before your second pretrial and say.
So, Mr. Davis, your pretrial, last time we were here on December 12th, the felony information was issued. Do you have a copy of your felony information?
Do not. I've never received anything with my chart. Well, I have my police report, and I've never received anything that said habitual on
So
it.
you didn't receive the paperwork that says information felony with all the charges against you?
Yes.
You did?
Okay. Yes, I did, and they do not say anything about habitual offender.
All right, so you received that one in district court, correct?
Right. And I can
Right, and
honestly
you-
say felony in 20 years, and I don't have 3 felonies, and none of my felonies are the same as this felony, which is what I thought a habitual offense was. So I'm kind of confused on how I can get a habitual offense.
Okay, so what I would say to you is, it doesn't matter if they're the same kind of offense. It shows here that you were arrested for resisting and obstructing a police officer and convicted on January 26th of 2011. It also says that you were convicted of the offense of larceny in a building on September 20th of 2000, and that on that same day, you also pled guilty or were convicted of another larceny in a building. So on September 20th of 2000, you pled guilty or were convicted of 2 larceny in a building. So those, even though they were the same day, they're 2 felonies. And so
Okay.
we go from the date you pay off your fines and costs and are released from probation or parole. So whether or not that was 23 years ago or 24 years ago, it depends on, you know, how long your probation, parole, or whatever might have been. But I'm not going to accept your plea today, and I'm going to set it over 2 weeks. And then Ms. Underwood will take some more time to explain it to you. So
I have
I
one
will
more.
see you. Yes, sir.
So the R&O that you're bringing up, they told me the same thing last time that I took that plea, that was dropped to an attempt and it wasn't treated like a felony. So that's still,
it is treated as a felony because an attempted R&O is a reduced felony. So it is treated as a supplement for those purposes, but that's okay. So I'm going to set this over to February 21 at 8:30 in the morning. Miss Underwood will come over and speak with you again. And then if you decide you want to take the plea, you can call and get him in on another day. Okay. So Miss Underwood, can you do the stipend order to adjourn? And Mr. Davis, I'll see you back on that day. All right. Thank you. Okay, so I have Brianna Spiegel. Are you ready on Miss Spiegel?
Brianna Spiegel, yes.
Okay. All right. So Miss Spiegel, and then I have, okay. So, all right. So this is in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Brianna Lynn Spiegel, file number 22-20816FH. Ms. Spiegel, we were here and arraigned you on contempt of court in a violation of probation yesterday and entered a plea of not guilty on your behalf. You had asked for counsel. We provided Ms. Underwood to represent you. So were you able to meet with her?
I was.
Excellent. So how would you like to proceed today,
Well,
Ms. Underwood?
since we met, Your Honor, I see Ms. Spiegel's name on the jail list
Yeah, she's got
for an arraignment on new charges downstairs, Your Honor.
Yep, I saw that too.
Ms. Spiegel, I'm going to ask to have this matter adjourned until after, for perhaps a week, Your Honor, to figure out where we are with those new charges.
Okay. So I
would ask the court to continue the not guilty plea.
So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna set it over to February 28th.
Okay.
If you take care of all that, you call Miss Adams, you and I are morning people, so we can be here right at 8 o'clock with her sooner, all right? So I'm gonna set this, Miss Spiegel, over to February 28th at 8:30 in the morning for a pretrial, but if it gets resolved sooner, Miss Underwood will bring you in sooner, all right, Miss Spiegel? All right, you're all set. Thank you, Miss Spiegel. We're having like no audio from the jail today. I don't understand. That's weird. All right, so I have Mr. Rener.
Yes.
Now, there you are. Where's Mr. Rener? Down there. Okay. All right. This is in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus James Vernon Rener, file number 21-20539FH and 22-21119FH. I've run Underwood appearing on behalf of Mr. Rener. Ms. Underwood, how would you like to proceed today?
Your Honor, I was able to speak with Mr. Rener. Your Honor, in talking to Mr. Rener, I believe there is perhaps a likelihood that there are new charges coming pursuant to his arrest. I would ask only a week's adjournment on this matter, Your Honor.
How about February? All right, February 14th, I do have trials. So for some reason, we are having so many trials, which is fine. But understand that I just can't do breakout rooms on Wednesdays anymore. So Mr. Renner, I'm gonna set this over to February 14th at 8:30 in the morning, and we'll see you back on that day. Obviously, Miss Underwood, if something gets resolved, you want to bring them in sooner, that's fine too. All right?
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Renner, I'll see you back on Valentine's Day.
All righty.
Okay, so let me see, don't you move, Miss Underwood. Took care of Mr. Jasper. So I have Michael Dagger, Margosian on Musgrove. I have Michael on Danielle Rosenberg, she waived arraignment. So I have Brandon, Farnell, and I have James Vanzo. Mr. Vanzo, Mr. Dagger Margosian is your attorney. So Miss Underwood, you can go now.
Thank you.
Run fast. Okay, so Mr. Vanzo has been with me since like 8:15 this morning. So did I lose Mr. Dagger Margosian? I had him, now he's gone. Mr. Malaro.
I'm on it, Judge.
All right, because my trial's 8 minutes late now, so. And you know, I'm a stickler, I want my trials to start on time. Get Michael. He was here and then he backed back out. Mr. Vanzo, do you know if you intended to take a plea offer today?
I talked to my Michael yesterday, and he never mentioned anything about a plea.
So
he was
Mr.
just saying-
Malaro, yeah, hold on one second. So Mr.
yes,
Malaro,
ma'am.
would you
Yes,
be able to
Judge.
stand in real quick just to get another date?
Yeah, I can do that.
All right, so this is in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Jamie Allen Vanzo, file number 23-21503FH. He is represented by Mr. Dagger Margosian, but I do have senior trial defender Salvatore Malaro here today. So based on, and I stated on behalf of the people, it doesn't sound like there was any intention to enter a plea today. Mr. Vanzo, did your attorney tell you how far out he was going to ask for another date or?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this for another pre-trial on March 6th.
March 6th, okay.
At 8:30 in the morning. And then Mr. Vanzo, we will see you back on that day. Obviously, your attorney is really good about if something gets worked out, he'll bring you in sooner, okay?
So you said March
Mr. Mark-
6th at 8:30, correct?
Yeah, hold on, Mr. Malaro, what'd you say?
It says he's got his jury trial at 9 on the 6th.
Okay, so how about March 13?
Yeah, he looks clear on that date.
Okay, so we'll set March 13, and can you make a note for him to do a stip in order to adjourn?
I will absolutely do that for you, Judge.
All right, thank you, Mr. Malaro. All right, so March 13 at 8:30 in the morning. All right, Mr. Vanzo?
8:30, yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. All right, thank you. You're all
Thank
set.
you. You have a
All
good
right.
day.
You too. So, Mr. Farnell, or Parnell, I'm sorry. Let's see here. Okay, so Mr. Farnell's left, Mr. Musgrove's left, and I don't have either of them. So, Mr. Farnell, I'm gonna set you over to later in the day today. And I say that because I have a jury trial starting. I have law enforcement here. I have the attorneys ready and the defendant for the trial today. So yours is a violation of probation, I believe, right? No, yes, no. No, it's not. It's a pretrial. Mr. Malaro, do you have any information on Mr. Farnell?
Well, it looks like Mr. Margosian would be available this afternoon.
We would want to go out 1 week, Judge. I think according to Phoebe's notes, she could use some additional time speaking to Mr. Dagger Margosian.
Okay, so it looks like
Yeah, it
Mr.
looks like a week would be fine.
Okay, so in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus, let me find your file number, Brandon Charles Farnell, file number 24-21673FH, Mr. Farnell. From what the notes are saying between them, it looks like Mr. Dagger Margosian and Ms. McClure are in the process of trying to find a resolution that you would be happy with. So I'm gonna set it out 1 week for them to come back. And so I will set this out to February 14 for a pretrial at, yes, sir.
Ma'am, I know the answer to this is probably no. My father had a stroke yesterday and is currently in the emergency room. I was going to try to talk to my lawyer about some way being able to see him. But I mean, I know which is not my grandma and
Mr. Farnell, I can't hear you that well, but I did understand you say your father had a stroke, and I'm super sorry about that. But I don't release people typically because of those issues. So Mr. Malaro will make Mr. Dagger Margosian aware of that today. And then Mr. Dagger Margosian will either talk to you or try to talk to the court, okay?
Ma'am.
Oh, okay, thank you, Mr. Farnell.
Is that something about
Okay.
his dad had a stroke or something?
Yeah, it sounds like his dad had a stroke and he's in the emergency room. All
Okay.
right, so the last one I have, Mr. Malaro, for Mr. Dagger Margosian. I have somebody with a B on their screen and it says discovery. I just sent you a request to unmute and a request to start your video. Okay, are you Mr. Musgrove?
Yes, ma'am.
And I got Mr. Dagger Margosian. Great, perfect timing. Hi, Mr. Dagger Margosian. I'm sorry I'm late on my trial date. Mr. Malaro was super kind and stepped in a little bit, and he'll give you the notes on that. I will tell you, Mr. Farnell just informed me that his dad had a stroke and is in the emergency room. And I told him I typically, unfortunately, don't let people out for those issues, but that you would circle around with him and perhaps circle back with the court and the prosecutor on that, okay?
That's
So,
fine. Can I just ask?
I do now have Brian Musgrove. So this is in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Brian Joseph Musgrove, file number 23-21461FH. I do have Isaac Sneed appearing on behalf of the people and Michael Dagger Margosian appearing on behalf of Mr. Musgrove. This is the date and time set for pretrial. So Mr. Dagger Margosian, how would you like to proceed today?
Your Honor, good morning. Michael Dagger Margosian for Mr. Musgrove. Your Honor, Mr. Sneed and I had talked about a possible resolution while we were in district court. In light of that, we had waived the preliminary exam. I'm not sure if that agreement is going to be able to be satisfied. I think what I would ask is one of two things. If this court would allow an adjournment, then that would be my first request. But if not, I think probably at this point I would just set it for a trial. But my initial
I can adjourn it out to February 28th at 8:30 in the morning.
February 28th is fine. Thank you, Judge.
All right. So we'll set another pretrial for February 28th at 8:30 in the morning. Mr. Dagger Margosian, you can do the stip in order to adjourn. Mr. Sneed, can you sign your name with permission?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Dagger Margosian on Brandon Farnell. I set that over to 14th at 8:30 in the morning.
Perfect.
Just 1 week. And then on, let me see, that was Farnell, there's Musgrove, and on Jamie Vanzo, I set a pretrial for March 13 at 8:30 in the morning. If you want that sooner, Mr. Dagger Margosian, know that my staff will always accommodate you in the morning or afternoon on a day, not a Wednesday. All right?
I appreciate that, Your Honor. It was difficult getting to this court. I don't think we need to change that date. I'll just speak with Mr. Vanzo. Thank you.
All right, so that concludes my morning criminal docket. So, Mr. Musgrove, you're all set, and thank you.
Thanks, Judge.